A few people have asked, following the recent incident surrounding Johnny Somali, what are the Japanese prisons like for foreigners? So if you are convicted, you could have a suspended sentence, meaning if you're on good behaviour for a set amount of time, you won't have to go to jail. If you do break the law in that time frame though, you'll have to serve your initial sentence and the new sentence. So if you do have to go to jail in Japan, it's called a custodial sentence, and you're sent to a prison in Japan. And there are 62 prisons in total in Japan. Time in prison can be difficult. It is safe for prisoners, but they're extremely strict and follow draconian rules. In many ways, the Japanese prison system is quite impressive because there are no issues with overcrowding, there's not really any assaults or rapes among prisoners, and drugs and weapons are virtually non-existent within the prison. It's not really common for people to escape prison in Japan as well. So initially in Japanese prisons, you're placed in community cells, and there can be 6 to 12 other inmates in there. Later on, foreign prisoners could end up in their own smaller rooms, but these rooms don't have beds, they have futons, and the flooring is a type of mat known as tatami. The tables that they provide are quite low down. Japanese people, they normally grow up with a system of rules and heavy pressure to adhere to these rules. For foreigners, they often don't have this cultural background, so it might feel quite difficult and suffocating for them. There is a chance that you could be placed into solitary confinement, and you're placed in a room alone with nobody to talk to, and this can last for months at a time. Prisoners in solitary confinement have to eat, sleep and work in these cells, and they're allowed out to exercise and for bathing, but they're forbidden to communicate with other inmates, and doing so may result in punishment. A typical day for a Japanese prisoner involves waking up at 6:45 am, morning call is done, breakfast and then heading to work. Work is between 8 am and 5 pm, and it involves a 30-minute exercise break, 40 minutes for lunch and a 10-minute break. Dinner is given at 5 pm, and then the inmates have free time between 6 pm to 9 pm, and at 9 pm they sleep. This shows a rough guideline of what to expect in a day, but you have to operate on very strict timings. Morning check and evening checks involve you waiting outside your cell in Caesar position, which foreigners are often not used to, and it can be quite uncomfortable. The work you must do can be very hard labour, including cleaning, prison maintenance, woodworking, dressmaking, leatherwork and printing. Prisoners work 8 hours daily, and they're often instructed to work in total silence, looking down at the work they're doing only, and they're forbidden to speak with anyone. There's some further strict rules that you may have to follow in this prison system. So you must place your items in your cell in a particular way only. You write on only specified notebooks. You're told how to sit and stand in your prison cell, and you're not allowed to lean, lay down or randomly walk around the cell. You have to sleep on your back or on your side and not on your stomach, and you aren't allowed to read, talk or move around when you're supposed to be sleeping. If you are to walk around the prison itself, let's say you're going from one place to another, you have to march, and if you don't march, you're punished. You're also told when and how to speak, so most of the time in prison is spent in strict silence. During leisure time, you're allowed to talk with other inmates, but it has to be in low volume, and you also have to speak to the guards with respect or you will be punished. You're also told where you must look. If you look at a guard, you could be punished. Looking up during meal times is punishable, and reflection time is often done regularly throughout the day, and this is where prisoners are to reflect on the crime that they've committed, and if you open your eyes in this time, you could be punished. Punishments for breaking the rules can include verbal reprimand, where the guards will scream at you, reduction in food for up to 1 week, loss of prison privileges like reading, drawing or exercising, and there could also be minor solitary confinement, where you're placed in a room and instructed to sit in that Caesar position from 7 am to 5 pm. There's also major solitary confinement where you're kept in the dark. A key problem for foreigners in Japanese prison is that the only language that's allowed to be spoken is Japanese, so mail must be translated and visitors may require a translator. So it's very clear that when you're in Japan, you must behave and abide by the law. A lot of foreigners don't respect the law, and small infractions can result in jail time from 3 to 10 years in Japanese prisons. So let me know your thoughts on the Japanese prison system, what you think in the comments section below, and thank you very much for watching.